What happens when the sun disappears for 3 days? No charging, no backup, just your system and whatever you planned for.
And that right there is where most systems fail.
And it usually comes down to one thing: batteries. Most people think off-grid solar is just buying the biggest battery bank that you can afford.
Or the biggest one their budget can handle.
But if your system doesn't match your actual life,
You're either sitting in the dark,
or you've spent thousands on power that you'll never use.
batteries are your energy security. And without them, your system only works when the sun is shining.
And that's not independence.
That's dependency with extra steps. Every off-grid system runs on batteries every single night. No exceptions.
If your batteries aren't right, your system isn't right. And neither am I.
I think your sister did that one day.
Hmm.
Yeah, at my sister's place.
Clouds don't cut your system off, but they'll cut your production pretty dramatically sometimes, maybe up to around 90% or so.
And your batteries are what will smooth all that out.
But here's the part a lot of people don't think about. Batteries don't create energy.
They store time.
So then the real question must be,
How much time do you actually need?
everything starts with one number. How much are you really going to use in one day? This is a simple chart that will show you basically how much you can expect to use in one day. We'll make it a little bit simpler later on, but for now, this will give you a visual idea of exactly what we're talking about. Now here's the secret. Once you add these up, ours came to about 2,400 watt hours in this example. You don't just buy a 2,400 watt hour battery. You have to account for sunless days. If it rains for a few days, do you want your lights to go out? Of course you don't. We sized our bank for 3 to 4 days of autonomy. I'll explain how we calculated that extra cushion without breaking the bank in just a few seconds.
For most off-grid homes, at somewhere around 8 to 12 kilowatt hours a day. I cheated and I Googled that one.
Kind of thought so.
I know.
How many days do you feel comfortable riding out some bad weather?
Up here in northern New York, 3 to 4 isn't extreme, it's realistic.
So let's keep the math simple like me. 10 kilowatts a day for 4 days, that's 40 kilowatt hours of storage.
And this is where it becomes real. A typical rack battery gives you about 5 kilowatt hours.
So according to my old man math, 40 divided by 5 is, you're looking at about 8 hours.
Okay.
Looking at about 8 batteries.
Yeah, I was going to say, what about batteries?
Yeah, what about batteries? That's what we're talking about.
Uh-huh.
And this is where a lot of systems are going to fail.
Because storage is only half the equation. I know, more math. I'm 6
Watch out!
years old and still having to use this stuff. I'm old.
Yeah. If your panels can't recharge those batteries,
Your system doesn't fail all at once,
it slowly dies.
like me.
Yeah, I was gonna say kind of like me too. Yeah.
Oh. In winter, your solar production can drop to 10 to 20% of what you could probably be getting during those summer months. And that's the part people don't plan for.
We didn't.
Not the first year. Still can't believe that we used the Blue Eddy to do our fridge.
So let's say you still need 10 kilowatt hours a day, but you're only getting about 2 hours of good sun during those winter months, if that much. So you need a 5 kilowatt array just to break even.
And that's before losses.
So realistically, you should have at least 6 to 7 kilowatts. We've got a little more than 7 on our array right now.
And this is where the rubber meets the real life road. We don't just run anything whenever we want, anytime we want. Our electric dryer, we only run it when the sun is doing its job. And even when the sun is doing its job, I usually hang it outside. Now I gotta wonder, why did we choose electric? Oh, yeah, right.
It was on sale.
It was on sale.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah.
It looked old-timey,
Hmm.
but it doesn't act old-timey.
Well, we got it anyway. So we're basically washing our undies on solar time. And in the summer, once the batteries are full, we've got power going to waste, and a lot of it.
So instead of wasting it,
We're planning to add a mini split heat pump. Fingers crossed.
both fingers crossed.
Anybody out there know where we can get one cheap or free?
Free is good.
Wink, wink.
That will turn all that extra summer sun power into cooling or to dehumidify the place.
We'll use it one way or the other. And it's going to give us a boost on those bright winter days, we hope. See, we don't know for sure how this is going to turn out for us. But what we do know is even if we only use it on a bright, sunny summer day, we're not using 1 watt more than we'd otherwise would have, because that watt would have just floated off into thin air without ever getting used. Now, there's something else people ask about a lot once they hear the name bifacial panels.
What are
It's two-faced.
they?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's two panels in one. Regular panels collect light from just the front. They're clear glass on the front side and white plastic on the back. Whereas bifacial panels collect from both sides. It's like having two panels glued together. And about as heavy since they've got glass on the backside as well. So be prepared to get help if you're planning on lifting a few of these. Yeah, they are pretty heavy. We're talking about 80 pounds or more per panel here.
In the right setup, like snow on the ground, you might see 10 to 20% more production. And that's pretty nice when you've only got a few usable hours of daylight to suck up.
But that's all going to depend on your setup. Ground mount, open space, snow reflection, good gains.
Good gains.
Very good
Oh,
gains.
you got some nice gains.
I don't have gains.
You got gains.
Nope.
You have gained some gains.
No gains.
Mm-hmm. On a roof mount, you might barely notice it. But no panel is ever going to fix an undersized system.
Batteries are the most expensive part of your system.
By far.
By far. They are really expensive. I don't think you told me how much you paid until, you got all of them.
Panels might last for up to 25 years. Batteries probably won't.
We'll be dead by then.
Yeah, we don't care. We'll be long gone by then, I'm sure.
25 years, 80.
Yeah.
90 years old?
Mm.
Wow.
Well, then we're not going to worry about it.
Lithium batteries don't like charging below freezium.
Freezium?
Lithium batteries don't like charging below freezing. We're going to have a nice
Mm-hmm. Freezium.
blooper.
Yeah, freeziums. Yeah, if you want to know where to get freeziums,
Freezium.
and if you ignore that, you can ruin them.
We could ruin them a couple of times.
Yeah, we could have.
But we didn't. I
No,
don't
we
think.
didn't. No, we didn't. That's what that constant vigilance is all about.
Mm-hmm. Monitoring isn't optional.
See?
Yeah. And putting on an alarm when you put the heater on is one of the musts.
That's not going into this video.
Oh.
Yeah. And cheap batteries, they work until they don't. Do your own research. Things are changing pretty fast these days. Check out a great resource like Will Prowse on here. Yeah, we'll put a link in the description for his channel down below. It's definitely worth checking out.
And tell him we sent you.
Yeah, tell him we said hi. Batteries are not about convenience,
They're about peace of mind.
only if they're sized right.
Only
Only.
if they're sized right.
Hmm? Well, there you go. You tell them all about it, honey.
Yeah. Very well. Too small, and your system fails when you need it the most. Too big,
And you've paid for more storage than you'll ever use or fill up. The goal isn't just storing energy.
it's having enough solar.
You got to have that solar. To bring your system back to life. In the next episode, we'll show you what solar panels actually produce in winter. Not enough. We just have to have more. Need more power.
Laundry.
More solar.
Yeah. Not yet. We don't have enough money. And why a lot of systems are dramatically undersized.
See you next time. And that's how we finally cracked the code on sizing our batteries and panels without breaking the bank or running out of power midwinter. We know every setup is different, so we're curious. What's the one appliance or luxury item you're most worried about powering off-grid? Let us know in the comments so we can keep those needs in mind for our future episodes. If this breakdown helped clarify things for your own journey, please give this video a like. It really helps the channel grow. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe and the bell icon. You won't want to miss any of our upcoming videos in our continuing Off-Grid Solar Power series. Thanks for being part of our modern off-grid community. We'll see you in the next one.